going on? It's your boy Rakage Omega, and I'm back with another Marvel's Avengers video. Today we are talking about the beta. If you guys didn't get a chance to check out the beta, there will be another opportunity on the 14th, and whatever weekend that is. I don't know, 14th through the 16th or 17th. So you'll have an opportunity there. Xbox players will have their opportunity as well as PC players as well. The beta is a lot of fun, but I'm gonna go through the formalities of how everything happens. So the first thing when you start off with that mission on A Day. You play basically with every character except Camilla Khan, simply because she doesn't have her powers by then. The first thing off the bat is you start to realize which characters you like, which characters you want to explore. And that's kind of a good thing. That's a good way to start off a game with multiple characters to choose from, because then it really gives you this sense of excitement as time goes on when you're playing with these when you're playing with these characters. Because then you can go, oh no, well what if maybe I'll switch it up to Thor because I had a good time with Thor. Maybe I'll switch it up to Cap, and it may open your eyes to characters you never thought you were going to play with. The beta came out. It was really interesting. You play that mission. Then immediately after that, you play a mission, I'm not too sure where in time this mission is, but it's the mission that everybody was super excited about because you fight Abomination, which is a fun fight. And then you get into Harm and then War Table, War Zones. And that's really where the game becomes expansive. It's weird because you go into Endgame in the beta, but from what the developers have said, you have to, or it's better to play the whole story before you do this when the regular game comes out, because you'll unlock more things for the actual helicarrier. But it was a good time. So the big thing, big kind of things, pros and cons I took away, and I'm gonna go cons first, just so we end the video on a high note, because I am on a high note with this game. So some of the cons is the first one that I can even really think of off top is frames. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's 4 people on the screen with powers, and then there's a whole bunch of enemies with powers and guns and lasers, and then there's explosions everywhere. And sometimes I got lagged out of the actual game where I had to go restart the game. And sometimes I kind of got it just kind of froze for a little bit, or the frame rate just dropped really bad. I don't know if they can fix that before launch, but it would be nice to see them continue to work on that. It seems like they want this to be very ambitious, and maybe just didn't get the funding to be as ambitious as they wanted. And I really hope that doesn't hurt the game. The next thing I can think of on a con is the gear system. I found myself not caring, and it's not like I wasn't using it, because it's useful when you're trying to get your power level up. But simply I was going to gear, hitting L2 and letting the gear completely change itself to whatever the strongest gear was. I wasn't looking at it. I wasn't reading anything. I didn't care. As long as my power level went up, and that meant I could do harder missions, that's all that mattered to me. For me, that's a mixed bag. That's a con for me, because I know they wanted it to be more conscious. But for me, I've never really cared about stuff like that. I think one of the only games, besides RPGs, legit RPGs, the only other game that I cared about that for a little while was Injustice. And the only reason that happened is because there's a physical aesthetic to that. And on this, there's nothing physical changes on you because you have your skin or whatever. Yeah, I think that's probably a con, because there's probably some people who are going to get into this game and want to not only see the change, but want that to really matter. And really, it didn't. Maybe down the line when maybe I missed something, or there's, some guy who's really into stuff like that, and they'll find, actually some of the best gear and be able to share why it's important. But for the time being, I just didn't see why it was important. Besides getting your power level up, and then I don't have to worry about that because I can just press one button and it'll put the strongest gear on there. The other thing that kind of I found myself kind of struggling with was the enemy size. Enemies, and maybe because I was Hulk most of the time, enemies seem so small. So a lot of times, if I'm moving around, you're moving pretty quickly. You might miss them. If they don't shoot at you, you'll probably miss them. Especially if it's dark outside, you're probably not going to even see them, which is crazy. So I did find that to be a problem every now and then. Not something major, not something completely destroying the game for me, but it did happen. And in turn, with that being said, we're fighting a lot of robots, and Iron Man looks like a robot. So I found myself hitting my friends. I would just completely walk straight up to them and run a full combo before I went, oh, that's Iron Man with a dark skin, right? And then even when, I had a friend who played Iron Man with regular Iron Man skin, I still hit him one time. So I do find that to be kind of, it's not like, it didn't take me out of the game, but it was a little, it was just weird. Like, oh, wow, I really keep hitting Iron Man, and it's because he looks like these enemies. Like, he looks like an aim enemy. When everything's going on, when you're in the mix, he looks like an aim enemy. So yeah, that did happen quite a few times. But I digress. Another thing is there's a lot going on screen, as I said before. And because of that, specifically with certain characters, such as Iron Man is already hard to control. It's rewarding when you figure out how to control him, which I'm still figuring out. But my partner was absolutely going crazy with Iron Man. Once he figured out Iron Man, he was going nuts. But it does take a little time to figure out Iron Man. But he's going so fast, he's whizzing by people so fast, and there's so much going on that it's almost like you don't know where to turn. You have to mentally make that decision before you do. So you got to be really quick on your toes. It's a con for now, just for the beta wise, because we haven't really got a lot of time into it. But I'm pretty sure it's something that people will kind of warm their brain up to. The other thing is the variety on long missions. Once again, I'm assessing the beta, not the full game. And in the beta, there's a lot of missions that really take 4 or 5 minutes. I mean, you walking down the hallway, wrecking stuff, get to a place, hack some stuff, and then you're done. And I really found that these longer missions were a lot of fun. Took like they could take maybe 15 minutes if you went straight, going through 15 to 20 minutes maybe if you went straight to the objective. But there's so much actual hidden stuff in the world that when you press up on the D-pad, it'll show you all the points of interest, and you can go and you'll get different gear, you'll get different enemies. It'll open up a whole new location sometimes, and to me that was really cool, and I had a lot of fun. And it was one of those things where I wanted to find everything in that mission. Let's go everywhere in this mission and go crazy. So yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. But there was only 2-3 of those missions, I think. So that sucked a little bit. I don't know if they're gonna bring new things when they come out on the 14th, when each weekend. I'm not sure if they're doing that or if they're gonna keep it the same. But I do feel like when the main game happens, they have to have a lot, and I mean this, a lot more longer missions, a lot more variety in these missions, and location. Like the location in the city was super dope, but there's only one mission in the city as well in the beta. So hopefully there's a lot more of this, because if not, it's going in somewhere and fighting something for 5 minutes. Just honestly, it wasn't fun because it just felt like you never got to a running start. Like you go in there and basically destroy everybody before you even really start to get, amped up. So it didn't work for me from that aspect, and I found myself, continuing to try to do the longer missions and get a crew to do the longer missions instead of doing shorter missions and just avoiding them. Um, the other con is not enough characters. So there's 4 characters in this beta. Um, there's 2 more characters in the game at launch, and then obviously we're gonna get Hawkeye. We're gonna get Spider-Man for PlayStation users, and then there's 3 more characters they're gonna um, drop. I almost wish they would have dropped all of them at launch, um, and then after they dropped them at launch, then they would have got into DLC. Because it seems like it's not enough characters. I played with everybody in this beta. I played majority with Hulk, and my secondary was Iron Man. But you learn the characters are pretty. Their basics are pretty similar, right? The distinction is a lot of times in power and maybe what their extra move sets are. But their basics, it's square, 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 triangle, right? Like it's basic stuff, and it's all pretty similar. Um, so the non-variety just seems like almost it's a sad thing. I don't know how fast these DLC are gonna come out, but I really hope they come out quickly because I think people will kind of get tired of playing the same characters and the same builds. But we'll see. We'll see what happens when launch comes around. So that's really it for my cons. I mean, I don't. It sounds like a lot probably when I say them all in succession, but none of those really broke the game or the beta for me. None of those made me go, this isn't gonna work. In actuality, those things were things that I feel like they just need to be improved upon. They can be improved upon, and then we can move on, happily. Because the things that work in this game absolutely work. So getting into my pros, one of the things that absolutely works. I mean, this game is insanely fun. And it's one of those things that not a lot of communication needs to happen. So maybe you could look at that as a con or a pro. So if I have a whole bunch of teammates, not a lot of communication needs to happen. So I don't have to be on here. I can be on here with randoms, and this random Hulk is probably gonna smash. That's I can almost guarantee that this random Hulk is gonna smash. So I don't really have to worry about too much, right? But it is a lot better to play with friends. When I played with friends, I found myself, letting my Iron Man know, hey, they got turrets up top, things like that, right? And it's not really because I needed to tell him. It's more so because we were already in, having fun or whatever, talking in chat every now and then or whatever. So it was cool to be able to call that out and not have to worry about that. And so that is as a ground character as Hulk, I'm worrying about the big mechs. I'm coming through, trying to help the ground game. So to not have to worry about, topside people and or turrets was a good thing. And being able to express that with the homie and let him know, and he go handle business and come back, and it felt very Avenger-esque. So it was pretty cool. I enjoyed that a lot. My second pro, which is absolutely huge for me, and to be honest, I disclaimer, I'm a Black Panther fanboy, right? I'm pretty sure if you follow my channel, I'm a Black Panther fanboy. I'm waiting on Black Panther to be announced. I don't care what y'all say. Black Panther is coming to this game. He better come to this game. So I was pleasantly surprised to play as Hulk because I've played Hulk in a lot of games over the years, and there's been some good ones and there's been some bad ones. But this Hulk feels great. I mean, this is the Hulk we all deserve. Hulk is an absolute animal, especially when you level him up. Um, and I just feel like destruction is really what he does, and that's exactly what they, put in this game. He feels powerful. He hits hard. And then when you do your little triangle circle execution type things, I mean, if it's like a big mech, it's not like he's just punching the mech. Like he's picking the mech up, throwing the mech around, which is, I mean, I can't ask for more. Hulk is amazing. The surprising thing, though, the thing that shocked me was after I had to, I kind of had to get forced out of playing Hulk because I was just playing Hulk so much, and I felt like, all right, what am I going to talk to you guys about besides Hulk, right? So I played as Iron Man. Iron Man is a blast. It takes a little while to get used to how fast he's actually moving. But once you get used to that, Iron Man is one of the funniest, which is not really a word, but one of the most fun characters on this game. And then I played as Black Widow, and I was like, oh, Black Widow, she's kind of nice. Like she's got a counter button. She really feels like a mix of what comic book Natasha would be, and also Natasha from the MCU movies. And she was a lot of fun. And then Camilla Khan was a lot of fun. So within the four characters, these characters have a lot of different play styles, and they're all dope, which is a good thing. If you're gonna limit the characters, they gotta be fire, right? And with that being said, two characters that I felt like besides Hulk that were also probably in contention for the best characters, and I didn't get to upgrade them. I didn't get to level them up, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna hear this on everybody's YouTube video. Thor felt absolutely great. The hammer felt amazing. And then Cap. I'm not a Cap fan. I really don't. I think I've been on Cap's side one time, and that was Civil War, the comic book version. And other than that, I don't really care nothing about Cap. But Cap was fun, man. I might end up being a Cap main until Black Panther come out. He was a lot of fun. So those are all good signs. When characters you don't care about end up being fun. I mean, I had a homeboy, and he started off with wanting to play Hulk, ended up playing Camilla Khan, and then by the end of the beta was like Black Widow is his main. That's a really good sign. When your main doesn't necessarily have to be your favorite, and your main is also somebody that you wouldn't think. That's a really good sign. Everybody knew Hulk was going to be a beast. But I didn't expect Black Widow to be a beast. So that's super dope. The other thing that's really a pro is you can tell they care about the lore. It's more, which means the characters won't really be outside of who they are. But even like when you're collecting different items, you can collect comic books and stuff. And as an actual comic book collector, that's pretty dope to me. And to me, that shows there's a care. They're not like, even the nameplates are from comics. They really didn't like do a Google search. These people actually read comics and appreciate what Marvel has done on their front, and are just trying to be a part of that cog, which is a pretty dope thing. So one thing that I really liked as well is the upgrades, and this is, by upgrades I mean like actual character moves. When I first started playing, I was like, oh, this is really bare bones, because you do the two missions. There's no upgrading in those two missions. So the whole time I'm just like, okay, this is kind of bare bones. I'm not really too sure if I'm feeling this, or if I'm feeling how powerful Hulk is, or if I'm feeling he has a bunch of moves, or yada yada yada. And then as the game opened up and you're able to upgrade, I mean, I just felt unstoppable, really, which was crazy. And the craziest part about it as well is that in the beta, you only get one page. You get the primary page to upgrade. there's 2 other pages. Each character has 3 pages of things to upgrade. So that's a really reassuring sign. That's how I can tell that because there's a short list of characters, they're trying to make the longevity of these characters be major. So yeah, that's dope to me. I really hope it continues. Like I said, I still hope this DLC come out faster, but that's a dope thing, and I can't wait to see what kind of what's fleshed out when it comes to the moves and stuff, what extra they have, because what I had already was just super fire. So yeah, super dope. Let's see what else we got. The story. So the story actually is really, it seemed really dope. It seemed like I had said before, like almost like it gave me MCU vibes, and by MCU vibes, it's not like a generic comic book story where you can only see the personality of or excuse me, not the personality, but you can only see the character of the person. Right, Daredevil is playing Daredevil, but because of the voice actors and I'm pretty sure they did the facial scan thing or the dots, whatever it's called. But because of that, you can really see the emotion. You can see the personality of these characters. And I think that's something the MCU did really well, especially in that first film, is not just fleshing out like this is Captain America and Captain America stands for freedom, but more so Captain America doesn't like Tony because Captain America stands for freedom, and Tony, although may stand for freedom, is also a wild boy. And kind of play on those nuances. I think that's something they're gonna do in this game, and that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. So yeah, I'm super excited about that as well. And I think the potential of this game is very major, right? I think there will be things at launch. I don't think they can fix everything at launch. So I do think at launch, there will be things fixed, and then by the time we get to maybe the end game of this game, everything will be fixed. There'll be new characters added. It'll be huge, massive, whatever. This game has a very high potential, but also it only has a high potential if they work on it. So I really very much hope they work on this game as if like this is the flagship, because it really has a lot of potential. Then it has a potential to open up 2 or more DLC, X-Men, and yeah, I think this game could be insane. It was a lot of fun. The beta was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the next weekend, and I really, really, really just hope when this game comes out, it's not a bust, because the potential is absolutely insane. But yeah, that's all I got. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification. If you guys want more Marvel Avengers video, I'm probably definitely covering on this channel, because I can say, for myself, I had a lot of fun. And I'm really looking forward to this game. And almost to be one of the flagship games on my channel. So I really hope the time is put in to make this as perfect as possible. And hopefully you guys come join me. That's all I got, though. Y'all be easy. Peace.